Is Israel officially criminal? Question mark. Arrest warrants issued against Israeli PM and former defense minister. I don't think it's a precedent. I think the U.S. has been very adamant with its use of vetoes in support of Israel. It hasn't announced any real desire to change its policy. I assume that the incoming Trump administration will continue to resist initiatives in the UN Security Council. I think international diplomacy is not doing too well at the moment, and the US veto reflects that sorry state of affairs. He could evade them for a while. I don't think that the arrest warrant signifies the immediate end of Netanyahu, and not even the immediate end of the Israeli genocide. But it is an important day because the ICC, the International Criminal Court, is not a strong organization, it's a weak organization. And it reflects the political tensions and schemes that characterize international diplomacy. The ICC has stalled for a very long time with issuing these warrants that were requested some time ago. If even the ICC is persuaded that such warrants are justified, that means that Israel's position, even in the eyes of its greatest supporters, is shifting. The Netherlands and France have already announced that they intend to carry out the warrants. That means that if Netanyahu visits the Netherlands or France, or Gallant, our former defense minister, they can be arrested. That is a very big deal. That means that in the eyes of most of the international community, Israel's status as rogue and criminal is now formal. The distinction between war crimes and crimes against humanity has to do with both scope and the timing, or the scope. If Israel will be accused of genocide, and that is a crime against the civilian population, so it's a crime against humanity. War crimes are crimes that are carried out in times of war and usually have to do with use of forbidden weapons or use of forbidden tactics. In this case, the ICC warrants have been issued because of suspicion that our Prime Minister and former Defense Minister were responsible for crimes, both crimes against humanity and war crimes. The main crime against humanity, which they are now sought for, is starvation, denying the entry of food and humanitarian aid into Gaza, thereby causing a famine. They're also accused of various crimes against the civilian population, and I think that's the main thread of the accusations against them, that they made the decisions that led to criminal behavior towards civilian populations. That is both war crimes and crimes against humanity. The entire Israeli political establishment has condemned this harshly. Just another proof of what Israelis consider the eternal bias of the international community against Israel. One thing that's remarkable, or that's worth saying, is that the nominee to be President Trump's national security advisor has already talked to the Israeli press and said, we will respond strongly in January when we take office. It's not necessarily true, but that's what he said. Generally, Israelis who, as a rule, support this war and support Israel's policy in Gaza and now in Lebanon consider this to be a hateful gesture, or one that has nothing to do with reality as we see it. And again, there is general condemnation from the entire political establishment. I don't know if I make much of it. January is a long ways away. And the fact that the court chose to issue these arrest warrants in this time, in the time of transition, says something about its hope that the international community will offer enough support for the court to prevent any kind of backlash coming from the Trump administration. The U.S. could do various things, from withdraw funding to announcing that if any action is taken against Israeli leaders, American soldiers will release them, which is, by the way, what U.S. law is now with regard to American citizens. But the truth of the matter is, I don't necessarily see President Trump entering into any such clear-cut commitments, not before he takes office and not after he takes office. I don't know if he has the time and the resources to take on all of these international organizations, mostly because he doesn't care about them in the first place. So I don't know if President Trump is going to say that American soldiers will free Israeli leaders from ICC prisons. We'll have to wait and see. Right now, I don't make much of that threat.